Retired from NYPD 11 years ago. I joined the force in '84. And I'm here to tell you all, that in every single one of these cases, with the Chantel Davis, and I had the misfortune of mentioning that the police were going to start killing our women, and 2 weeks later, Chantel was the first one that was gunned down. And I feel bad for foretelling that, but when you have police out here running ragged, sooner or later you knew that was going to happen. And I'm here to tell you again that in all of these cases, NYPD violated all of the rules and regulations in that point. In Chantel Davis' case, a police officer is never, ever, ever to shoot at a car, a moving car, not unless the person in the car, someone in the car, is shooting at the police. And in that case with Chantel Davis, that officer was not supposed to fire. That officer shouldn't even been on the street, because like what was said, there were 6 other lawsuits pending against that officer. And you can't tell me that he couldn't have been on desk duty, until they were settled. And the Kenneth Chamberlain case, which is a mirror of Eleanor Bumpur's case, the White Plains Police took their training from NYPD. So if they took their training from NYPD, when you have a barricaded person, you take all the time necessary, because the only person they can hurt is themselves. And most people have said, I would rather the person hurt themselves than the police to come out and kill them. Because Kenneth Chamberlain Sr. knew what he was doing. He wasn't a person who was losing his mind. He made a mistake and he tripped off his medic alert. He got on the phone and he told the people that it was a mistake and that it was no need for the police to come. So for the police to come and kick his door down when he had a relative who came to the floor and said, listen, that's my relative, I have keys, let me go in there and calm my relative down. They refused to let that woman go in there and calm her relative down, but then they used racial epithets as what was said to lure him out as a tactic. Well, let me tell you something. With my 20 years on the force, and I had to sometimes arrest Caucasian people, if I would have called them a racial epithet, I think I would have lost my job once I'd have told my boss, oh, I just used it as a tactic, to calm the person down. In Ramarley Graham case here, we have it on video. We have it on video where the officer, like Constance said, police are never supposed to enter a residence, not unless they have a search warrant or in an emergency situation. There was no emergency situation here. They started kicking the door down from the minute they came on the property. And they were able to gain entry through the back, forcing someone to open up their door and run them through their house under duress with a gun in their face. And then they commenced to going upstairs, kicking Ramarley's door in and firing in front of his grandmother and his 6-year-old brother. That was wrong. In the Sean Bell incident, it was wrong. Listen, I can go on and on and on. But what hurts me and really displeases me is that although I'm retired, there's a lot of other black and Hispanic officers that's out here retired too. And they need to be out here when these injustices are going on. And it teased me off that they don't. But yet and still, when one of ours was falsely arrested by NYPD a year ago, they called me, and it was over 250 of us that was going to go down to One Police Plaza, and then the district attorney, Cy Vance, blinked and said, y'all don't have to come down, we're going to cut them loose. And that was only 250 officers. So imagine if those same 250 officers was to come out here in our neighborhoods when the police have violated our people. Imagine how much power we can have, because I told them all, when it comes time to lock up anybody, we, the 250 ex-police officers, are the first ones to get our heads busted and the first ones to go in the jail cell, because we know that cops won't dare want to bust our heads in front of everybody else, because they know that we will damn sure fight them back, and they know. So I'm going to continue to support this family and every other family. And I'm going to continue to speak out against the mistreatment, abuse, and murder that not just NYPD, but any police or any police department, because they're really not a department. What they are is an organization. That's what all of these law enforcement agencies that have perpetuated violence and killed our people, they're not police law enforcement agencies, they're organizations, because a law enforcement agency follows their own rules and regulations, and they will chastise their officers. So along with NYPD, I will call NYPD an organization, not a department, until they stand for what a department does. So I'll be around. I'm going to continue to support and do whatever I can. I'm going to now introduce another brother of mine, but this brother is still an active law enforcement officer, and he still comes out and he talks about the injustices that all law enforcement agencies, organizations, right, perpetuate on our people. So I want to introduce my man, Damon K. Jones.